What's our click-through rate on our committee meeting?
There's that on. You're welcome. All right, good afternoon. This is the audit committee. It's Tuesday, March 17th, 2026. It's 5 p.m. We're conducting this meeting in person at the offices of the Albany County Land Bank. We have Anthony, Stan, and Charlie from the committee joining us. Staff in the room include myself, Sean McGuire, the executive director, Lynette, Lillian, and Jason as well. And we have our friends from the Bonadio group. Alan's here to walk us through the audit. So we're just going to go through the audit today. So you can receive that. And if you're pleased with it, as we wrap this up, we'll just consider advancing this over to the board for its meeting at 5:30. So right over to you.
Thank you. Just to introduce myself, Alan Walther, part of the Bonadio Group. We have completed the audit of the land bank for the year ended December 31st, 2025. We provided, I don't know, Sean, did you send drafts around?
I didn't get those out, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did provide, and we'll send them around electronically, so you have the full actual financial statement. I provided just for ease of talking today, this PowerPoint presentation that walks through the highlights. If you have questions, we can jump into the financial
Yeah,
statement.
there were a couple of highlights that Teresa wanted me to look at, but I sent her those back yesterday, so I think we
Okay.
probably gotta get those incorporated.
Yes.
I think we were clearing up more, but I think we were pretty much wrapped up.
Yeah, I think we're
Oh, we
now.
are wrapped up, yeah.
We will, I guess just talk about the gory details here. The financial statements right now are in draft form. We're working through the final, just little minor edits. The numbers are correct. Everything will be issued in the next couple of days in order to be filed by March 31st with the authority budget office. So it'll be in question the state. So the first slide here is the scope of services. So what it is that we do. As your auditors, our primary objective is to audit the land bank's financial statements and provide our opinion on them for the year ending December 31st, 2025. In conjunction with the audit, we also are required to do a required communications letter, and the required communications are within this PowerPoint presentation as well. Next slide, overall results of the audit. We will be issuing an unmodified opinion that the financial statements are presented fairly in accordance with GAAP. GAAP is generally accepted accounting principles. That is the highest level of assurance we can give on your financial statements, and that is the opinion that all of the users of the financial statements will be looking for. With regard to the reports required under government auditing standards, there were no internal control findings, no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, and no compliance findings. And then finally, a big thank you to Sean, Bowers and Company, the rest of the staff that assists with the audit. Audit is a collaborative effort. We can't audit what isn't provided to us, and thank you for all your assistance. The next slide is the required communications. No new accounting policies were adopted during the year. No significant difficulties in performing the audit with dealing with management. No disagreements with management. Adjustments were agreed upon with management. We were not aware that management consulted with any other accountants, and our discussion with management were in the normal course of a professional relationship. Financial highlights. So these are the highlights of the audited financial statements for the year. The first slide here is your statement of net position, which again, when we get the financial statements out to you, that this can be found on page 8 of the financial statements. The highlights here, total assets totaled $7.674 million as of December 31st, 2025, of which 4.1 million was in cash, 2.3 million was grants receivable, which is mostly receivable from New York State for the land bank initiative project. Property held for sale was a little bit over $1 million. That is the cumulative value of all of the properties that the land bank has accumulated. Plus, so those are the properties that Albany County provides, plus capitalized improvements. And then what we do is we look at the value of those versus, what you're listing down the sale.
What are we currently discounting? We made a couple of adjustments to discount the value down.
I think we're, and Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we start with 30% of the assessed value.
Correct.
And then as you do improvements,
Okay.
we capitalize those and then we look at, okay, how much, if you put $400,000 into a building and you're gonna list it for $250, we're gonna write it down to $250. We carry the property values at the lower of cost or market. So $250 would be the market, $400,000 would be the cost. We'd write that down. If it was $400,000 inventory, $600,000 sale price, we would just leave it at $400,000. So we look at that. And I think it's coming out pretty well now, because when we look at the financial statement, the sales of property and the cost of sales are pretty much coming out to zero. Back when we first started, we would have massive losses, and we kind of worked them, hopefully, the bugs out of that, after 10 years.
Well, everyone who got accused of sitting on the millions of dollars
Well,
of property, it's really only one third of what.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we write it down.
Yeah.
We talk about that every year. We really do. That's the most, that's the biggest estimate that's in the financial statements. And then capital assets, 148,000 is just equipment and stuff like that. Total liabilities at the end of the year were 199,000, of which the lease for this building, the new accounting standards for governments that you have to follow, you have to capitalize leases, so you show the whole lease liability, so that's $146,000, and then the difference, the 53,000 is accounts payable and some accrued liabilities. Deferred inflows totaled $1.987 million, of which the vast majority was the deferred amount on the New York State LBI grant. That's you can kind of look at that as an offset to the $2 million receivable. As that money is received, the receivable will go down, the deferred inflow will go down, cash will go up, revenue will go up in 2026. And then the accounting formula is assets minus liabilities minus deferred inflows, leave you with net position. The net position, the unrestricted operating net position, all of your net position is unrestricted technically. We showed on the financial statements, we carve out the amount that's tied up in property because it's not really spendable. So we showed it in two pieces. But there's $4.43 million of unrestricted operating net position, and then the million that we show. And it is actually, it is liquid, then you got $4 million, so it kind of matches up. So is in good shape, good shape. The next page, next slide, is a summary of your statement of revenue and expenses for the year. Operating revenue was $2.74 million. That includes property sales, grants, the money that Albany County sends over. Operating expenses were $2.57 million. That includes cost of sales for the cost of the property that's sold, rehab costs that were not capitalized, professional fees. Those are the large dollars. Non-operating revenue was $352,000, and then the increase in net position for the year was $523,000. The next slide is your last financial statements, is the statement of cash flows for the year. This can be found on page 10. Your operating cash flow totaled $555,000. Your investing cash flow was $142,000. That was interest earned on your $4 million of cash. Capital outflow was 36,000, and net increase in cash of 661,000. For cash at the end of the year of 4.1 million. Okay, so that's the cash flow statement is really the one financial statement that doesn't lie, right? Because you're following the cash, so you're not marking up inventory or anything like that. So to have operating cash flow of $555,000 is very positive, very positive. And then the last line here, and then, again, I'll open up to any questions. The government audit standards report, because the land bank is technically a form of government. You are a component unit of the county. A report under government audit standards is required on internal controls and on compliance. And with regard to internal controls, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. So, very favorable results there, and no instances of non-compliance. So the overall results of the audit, very favorable. Unmodified opinion on your financial statements. No internal control findings, and no compliance findings. That's the extent of my comments, unless there's questions. There's more, in the financial statements. There is when you get it, there is a management's discussion and analysis. Read those pages, that's about 4 or 5 pages. That is comparative to 2024. It is written relatively in layman's terms. Gives a good overview of what happened during the year. There's only the 3 pages of the financial statements, and then there's notes to the financial statements, the notes describe accounting policies, describe the change in the property inventory, that kind of thing. And then the government auditing standards report. So.
Yeah, I think I just, on that one slide, you said about adjustments that were agreed upon with management. I think really the only big adjustment we had was on 79 Elizabeth Street. It was just an adjustment for what we initially were planning on marketing that, I think, at 174, and then we went to 199. And so we just had to shift, redo the math. I don't want to say shift the math, but just redo the math to make the proper adjustments, which we appreciate because it just cleans everything up for us.
Yeah, others, it was, the audit went, very well.
Better sort our paces every year. Make sure.
What are we looking at here? Who's keeping the book? We're 2 weeks away, and everything will get done.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah, we appreciate all the assistance.
Good job, staff. Good job, all members.
Yeah. Yeah, with how much of a change we've had, and sources of revenue and sources of property, this is a great audit. So well done to staff and everybody.
I just
Keeping us on track.
remember you put me through my paces in my interview, and I got.
How was the first? That was the big question.
Big question, the creative ways.
We're-
We asked that
Yeah,
question.
yeah. We're staying on top of it,
Yeah.
so.
That's what I was thinking,
That
Sean.
was the way that was.
Yeah, I remember that. Still twitch at night now.
Keep twitching.
I think the only thing that we need from the committees are, I don't know if he's Charlie, did you send that letter in?
Yeah.
If not, I'll give that to you. It's just the questionnaire.
Electronic.
Yeah, I give it, yeah, I'll give it to you. I think we just need a motion to recommend the audit to the full board. We have a resolution prepared for that if you're so inclined.
So,
You spoke of.
so moved.
I'll second.
It's Keith and Anthony.
Combination.
Any comments or questions? So all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and no abstentions. It's kind of everybody said aye, so we always appreciate working with you every year. I think I put the call out in October or November just to.
Our pleasure as well.
All right.
Went very, it really did, went very, very well. Inventory, there have been years, and it always gets done. It's been, there have been years where it's been, a little bit of a struggle, but yeah, it's after a decade, figured it out, I guess, so.
Yeah.
All good.
And and like I said, we'll go back and we'll look at we're going through contracts now, we're doing a legal one now. Auto will be in the mix to see when we, if we haven't done it or when the last time we did it, if we're due to reissue that, but Dio's done a great job over the years. And I have no concerns, but we still do our due diligence on that, so. If there's nothing else for the board or the committee, I think, we can go back to the meeting.
So move to adjourn.
What are we supposed to say?
Move to unanimous consent to close the meeting.
Sure.
If there's no
Sure.
objection,
Sure.
Aye.
All
I don't
right.
even need that. No